Okay, let me just make sure we are up and at 'em, folks. Let me make sure. It looks like YouTube is waking up. YouTube, you with us? How you doing? It looks like YouTube's awake. Let me make sure Rockfin's awake, and then we will officially kick in. We're a minute or two early. We'll give folks a second to trickle in here. Rockfin is awake. YouTube is awake. We are solid. Awesome. What's up, everybody? Good afternoon to everyone out on the East Coast. Good morning to everyone in my time zone. And of course, to everybody in between. Hope all is well to everyone listening to the podcast later. Hope you're crushing those errands. Hope everything is magical. Welcome to Get Your News On with Ron. This is actually a bonus episode for the week. We usually do an interview episode earlier in the week and then the headlines episode on Thursday. But we got a bonus one this week because this guy has a lot going on. A lot of you already know him. He's a friend of the show. He is a comedian, and he just lost his show recently. We're going to be talking about everything. But please welcome back to the show, Mr. Lee Camp. Lee, what's up, buddy?
I like being the bonus episode. I got to collect all the bonus I can right now because I've been deplatformed everywhere else. So.
Yes, you have, man. So let's get right into it. And I will say this as a start here. I don't want to like make this whole thing a trip down memory lane, but I was thinking about this. I remember when you got the show because you did that show in Pittsburgh that I produced. It was when I was still living there. You crashed at my place.
Yeah.
And you had just got the show. Like we were talking about it. You were like, I got a TV show. And that feels like a different life.
Doesn't it?
It really does.
For you and me.
I know, dude. Yeah. Like sometimes you're like, it seems like only yesterday, but I was just like, no, it doesn't seem that long ago, but it seems like it was an entirely different life.
It was a different world back then. Must have been over 8 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And so, well, let's get into it. And for anyone who's not in the know, a lot of people probably already are, but you lost your show Redacted Tonight on RT America. RT America shut its doors. Walk everybody through that.
Yeah, so this past week, RT was running fine on Tuesday, and then Wednesday they told everyone no programming today, and we were all like, that's weird, but didn't seem like, everything was going to stop. And then the following day they said, yeah, it's all over. Go home, and here's a coffee mug on the way out. It was very weird. I have no inside knowledge on why it happened. However, I will say that the reasons that have been given by the mainstream media don't seem accurate, like lack of funding or lack of staff. They could have cut down the number of shows and easily had enough funding for months, if not a year, even with U.S. sanctions. So it seems to me like either there was some sort of sanction that said, basically we'll arrest the executives of the network if you don't leave, or some other form of U.S. Government decision. But it seems to me it had to be done by a higher power. There's no reason RT America would spend 15 years building up something as large as the RT America network and then just overnight decide it's gone without, I think, the U.S. government doing something. And simultaneously, by the way, so I lost the TV show, but simultaneously, all the Redacted Tonight videos are banned. I believe are still banned across Europe and the UK. And my podcast, Moment of Clarity, was deleted from Spotify. All happened within 3 days of each other. And I think that might make me the most censored comedian in America who hasn't sexually assaulted someone.
And just to clarify here, your podcast, Moment of Clarity, has nothing to do with RT either. So that was just like they saw your name and deleted that off Spotify.
Yeah, I mean, it is my personal podcast. It does air some of the audio of Redacted Tonight, but there's no ownership or connection to RT America. So all I can figure is that they just, had an algorithm that looked for audio from RT and then just deleted it. But there was no warning, no email, no nothing. No. Hey, if you think this is a bad idea, give us a call.
Have you reached out to them?
What's that?
Have you reached out to them since?
Not outside. I've been a little busy, so not outside of tweeting at them and saying, "Here's an idea. Go fuck yourselves."
Did they literally give you guys a coffee mug on the way out? Were you being literal there? Like, I wasn't sure. I was like, is he serious? They gave everyone their little, sorry guys, but check this.
No,
Okay.
I was joking around, but it was all very sudden. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, is there part of you, because when I heard the news, and obviously you have so much more of like a direct experience compared to me, but I've been on some RT shows, I've been on your show, and since about 2016, there was this ridiculous shift where all of a sudden, RT was this public enemy number one. Was there part of you that wasn't surprised?
Yeah, in the sense, when I first got the show and I was completely uncensored, I wrote all my own words. No one ever told me what to say, what not to say. I never had a segment cut out. Uh, all like when I first started airing that show, I was like, this is incredible. Like there will never be this level of freedom on any other network on American airwaves. And sure enough, the American empire couldn't handle it. It did seem like, wow, I'm impressed we've lasted 8 minutes, and here we were at 8 years, and they hadn't deleted the network yet because they wanted to pretend that they stand for freedom of press. But of course, the U.S. empire does not. And for years, they've been heavily suppressing everything from RT America, including my show, and including posts of mine that are not connected to the show. My Facebook has been essentially shadow banned since 2016, and they had them register as foreign agents, which was created to be for lobbyists of other countries and had never been used against a media outlet until they did that to RT America. They got warning labels, scarlet letters posted over all of them that this is partially funded by Russia. And they did everything they could to suppress it. But apparently, despite the fact that they had decreased our numbers, our views by about 95%, that still was not enough, because it's funny how just a little bit of truth can trump a lot of propaganda if it's accurate and well done and people get access to it. It can become like a thought virus, a good kind of thought virus that grows very quickly. So even the small number of viewers compared to where we were at our peak, even that was apparently too much.
So when this because when do you remember like the shift? Because for me personally, from where I was sitting after 2016 in the 2016 election, where the Russia hysteria really got turned up to 11, and it stayed that way for years, and I knew something was just very strange when people who seemed like rational people on most things literally believed that everyone at RT America was some kind of spy. They believed that you and everyone else, that you were spying on behalf of the Russian government. I guess
This is actually a fake mustache. I rip it off and start bleeding profusely.
Yeah, and it's like Ed Schultz, Larry King, and it's like you think they're all spies. Like, what do you think's happening? Do you literally believe that? Some people did. And that was when it was just like, okay, something weird is brewing. And then Farah happened a couple years after that. And for some reason, it only applied to Russian outlets and Chinese outlets, nobody else. And it's just like, they've been trying to get this for a long time. I feel like for a long time now, they've been wanting to get this, and this was just their opportunity to kind of go for the gullet.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate. And they put those stupid warnings on the thing, and like you said, it was only Russian and Chinese TV that were apparently foreign agents, but they didn't feel a need to put little tags underneath every CNN video that said funded by Raytheon, funded by war profiteers, funded by the largest pieces of shit this world has ever known. Yeah, for some odd reason, that tag wasn't underneath those videos. Yeah, it's been going on. And if you look at the larger picture, I honestly believe this is a much larger picture of containing the internet and television airwaves, but to a larger degree, the internet. The internet, yes, it existed in the 90s, but it didn't get fast enough, and the social media platforms weren't defined enough to really allow for large level awareness and activism and true spreading of information quickly until the early to mid 2000s. And almost immediately, what do you see? You see the Arab Spring. You see Occupy Wall Street, perhaps the largest global protest movement that we've ever seen, at least in such a short amount of time. You saw Black Lives Matter. You saw the Bernie Sanders movement, which was incredibly scary to the ruling elite, to corporate America. You saw all these things pop off, Black Lives Matter. And since that time, since 2016, it has basically been like, man, we've really fucked up, according to the ruling elite. And we need to find a way to get all of this back into an acceptable box, acceptable talking points. Yes, you can have debate, but it needs to be along these very defined parameters of, far right maniacs and centrists who are called left wing because they look left wing compared to somebody who's just spouting racism. But they needed to get everything back down, and it's not an easy thing to do. It's like playing whack-a-mole, but they are largely getting close to it. They have heavily censored or gotten the large tech platforms to censor themselves. Facebook basically is like, just don't break us up. Will you? Sure. Bring on the Atlantic.
Exactly.
Bring on the Atlantic Council to tell us what's true and what's not. We'll delete every page you want us to. Just don't break us up. And so, yeah, all these platforms, and it's been happening for years against people that were not just RT America. There was a massive purge 2-3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, where they knocked away 800 Facebook pages simultaneously, including Free Thought Project, Police the Police, antimedia.com, antiwar.com, those type of things. And not only did they delete those, but in the same day, they suspend all of the Twitter accounts of the editors, meaning that is cross-corporate conspiracy, because they had to conspire. They had to discuss it with each other. So these two corporations that are supposedly enemies, the Twitter and Facebook, have sat down and said, here's who we're deleting on the same day. And that is a level of coordination in the censorship that I think we hadn't seen before.
Well, and that's the thing that so many people miss when they talk about social media and what's going on in social media. They don't realize that a lot of the things people are griping about, the most obvious solution is just better data privacy for all of us. Just better, like, Facebook shouldn't just know where you're going all the time. That would fix pretty much all these problems. Yeah. And then you see these politicians and everyone else pretend like they don't realize that. And they pretend it because if they actually did that, it would cut into Mark Zuckerberg's bottom line. He'd still make plenty of money, but it would cut into his bottom line. So they don't want to go there. Instead, they'll just be like, well, let's play ball together. Let's try to get rid of people who are undesirables, and then we'll let you keep on doing your thing. Yeah. And people just passively accept it. And that's why I talk about digital rights as much as I do, because it's like, if you let them blow a hole in the internet, it's hard to imagine because it is such a groundbreaking medium in our lifetimes. Yeah. But it is still just another medium. At the end of the day, it's still just another medium. And if they get control of it, the way they got control of radio, the way they got control of television, we ain't going to get it back. It never goes backwards. And people don't realize that. People think that that's unimaginable. It's like, no, it's very possible. And they're working on policy now that would get them closer to that.
Well, and you look at some of the most powerful kind of anti-government control outfits that popped up, such as WikiLeaks, and those are the things they viewed as the most dangerous. Right. Was unaccountable to government outfit that was revealing their war crimes, their secrets, their crimes in general. And it was just incredibly threatening to them. Another one was Anonymous, which Anonymous basically doesn't exist anymore. It was so heavily infiltrated by, FBI and everything. And many of them were arrested or put out to pasture in one way or another. And then just the other day, they were like, hey, Anonymous just showed up for the first time in 5 years and took down RT.com. And I was like, yeah, I think that's Anonymous wearing FBI hats. Let's be honest. You don't hear about it. Anonymous apparently did not care about any of the crimes over the past 5 years, but they took down RT.com just now.
Yeah, I saw that, and I had the same reaction. I was just like, "Sure, that's who it was." Yeah, definitely. I mean, even, and again, taking a trip down memory lane, but even come like 2014 and 2015, it was kind of hard to tell who was who in that world, because
Yeah.
obviously it's
Yeah.
like anonymous, but also you were kind of like, well, are you? I don't know. I don't know. Like, is this guy? So yeah, that was all like something to sift through. Um, so let's get back to you, man. So what do you think? I mean, in the immediate future, what's kind of going to be next for you?
Yeah, I haven't figured it all out yet, but so I'm trying to build up patreon.com/Lee Camp. I had not, because Redacted Tonight was funded, I had not made that a priority, and hadn't really made a big deal out of like getting members for the past many years. So now, hopefully, I can go the kind of crowdfunding route with Patreon. And if I get enough members, then my hope is that I will come back with something that looks close enough to Redacted Tonight. It will never be Redacted Tonight. There will not that I think ever be a large scale corporate funding of Redacted Tonight, because it is everything that I stood for, everything I talked about is anathema to the corporate state, is, everything they don't want at all to be said on airwaves. So it won't be that, but hopefully I can get enough members and create that way. It could be partially tied in with some independent outlets that are out there, but this is by design. The independent outlets do not have tons of money to throw around, and that's how the U.S. government likes it. They don't like independent outlets being incredibly successful and powerful, and so it's a different world. And I do continue all of the videos and podcasts that I was doing outside of Redacted Tonight. So I do a video series called Moment of Clarity. I have a podcast with Graham Elwood called Government Secrets, another podcast with Eleanor Goldfield called Common Censored. And I still write columns and articles, hopefully a new book in not too long. And yeah, that'll all be at patreon.com/Lee Camp, and keep growing it.
What's going on with the book, man? You said new book.
Yeah, well, basically, I take the columns I've published at Sheer Post and I put them together in a book and add in a little new writing. And the last one was bullet points and punchlines.
Mhm.
And this one, who knows? The hiccups in life have delayed things, but hopefully it will still come out in the next few months.
Can we talk about some of the hiccups in life? Like, are you talking about that, or is that like not you don't talk about that at all?
Oh, I don't really spend a lot of time in my personal life, but yes, I do have a new baby in the
You
mix.
made a person.
I made a person, yeah.
All right. Are we allowed to talk about your person making a little bit? I mean, how is I imagine, I mean, like we've only
He,
hung out so
I
much,
just
but
taught him his first word, unemployment.
nice.
Yeah.
That's so great. I picture you being a good dad. Like when I found out you guys were having a kid, I was like, yeah, that tracks. I
I
picture
mean,
Lee
I'm
being a
just,
good dad.
I want him to get out into the labor for us soon. I mean, he's 3 months old. It's time to get moving.
It's time for him to
I'm
learn the value of a
hoping
dollar.
he'll fund my incredibly glamorous life. So
Now you're thinking. Now you're thinking. He's gonna be the source for Redacted Tonight.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
well, now that RT America is gone, and is it pretty much the doors are closed, or is there a chance
Yeah.
they're gonna come back?
They gave it zero chance they are coming back to
Okay.
any of us, and I really think that if they thought that was anywhere on the horizon, they would have said to at least the faces of the shows, they would have said, "Hey, we'll be calling you up in a bit. Hang in there." There was none of that.
Well, so I mean, I know we kind of touched on this, and as you pointed out, like a lot of these independent outlets, they don't have a ton of funding. But do you think, because clearly now a vacuum exists with the shows that they were putting out, your show, Chris Hedges, Jesse Ventura,
Yep.
and a lot. I mean, there's more that I'm forgetting, but do you think that something will come to kind of fill that vacuum, or do you think we're just kind of stuck with it now?
I mean, the only two options of something to have those shows like together would be some large independent platform, but even if all of us agreed to a pay cut and to simplify the shows, it's still a very expensive venture.
Mhm.
So I don't know where that comes from. And the only other option is like another big TV network. But like I said, like corporate America wants nothing to do with it. So then you're talking outside of that, you're talking, I don't know, Chinese television. I don't know who would fund such a thing. So that's what that's why I said, like, being at Redacted Tonight, creating Redacted Tonight, I was like, this will never exist again. This is not a thing that's on American airwaves. The first time I ever saw a video of RT was an episode of Abby Martin's show called Breaking the Set, and I didn't know who she was or anything, but I flipped it on and I was like, wait, this is being said on television? You can be anti-American empire on the TVs? It blew my goddamn mind. And that's what was so amazing about that platform. And I don't know if we'll see it again for 10, 20 years.
Dude, I mean, I had a similar experience where my first exposure to RT America was watching some of Abby's work as well, and this was before you were even there, and I remember feeling a similar way where I was just like, "This
Yeah.
is odd TV," and I didn't know who she was prior either, so I was like, "Who is this journalist?" And then I got really into her stuff, and then when I found out you were gonna have a comedy show on there, I was like, "This is really freaking cool." And then you kind of saw, I mean, and it's weird, before the 2016 election, RT America was just, another bureau like any other bureau. And it was just kind of this hip bureau that had Abby Martin and Lee Camp and others. Then all of a sudden the narrative shifted because of Russiagate. And then you also saw what they were really going after. It's like, no, no, no. This is really, they're going after stuff that's against the American empire. And this is just their scapegoat for it. And I feel like a small handful of us, you're in that small handful, I'm in that small handful. We're kind of warning about this shit for 5 years and counting. And we're not going to get an I told you so moment because there's nowhere for us to give it now.
Nope. We are not going to get the, oh, I'm so sorry you were right card from Hallmark. I had said it, as long as the person is not espousing violence towards others, I think they should be allowed to have a platform. That doesn't mean that a certain channel has to cover them. Alex Jones doesn't, FM radio does not have to give Alex Jones a show, but for when he was deleted off multiple platforms simultaneously, I was saying, I disagree with everything Alex Jones says, but this is garbage and this will come after us. And I had even friends that I consider very smart tell me, like, Lee, you're not Alex Jones, all right? You're not spouting garbage, so you're going to be fine. And of course, that's not true.
Well, Alex Jones was a very interesting case study because it's, like my whole thing is they make it out like we've never encountered these types of situations before ever in the history of humanity. And it's like, yes, we have. We even have laws around it. They're called, wait for it. Are you sitting down? Free speech laws. They've existed for a long freaking time. And free speech doesn't just mean you can say whatever the hell you want and there's never any consequence, but it means that to preserve the exchange of ideas and the exchange of information and calling things out that need to be called out, there's certain laws that need to be followed. Now, there's certain things that you can't do without consequence. You can't incite violence. You could get in trouble for that because that's a very bad thing. You can't defame somebody. They could sue you for that. You would have to prove it. It's not easy to prove. But we have laws around this that have been tweaked for years and years and years. It almost seems like just applying it to the digital sphere is all we need to do. And that's, like that's it. Instead, they pretend like we've never encountered this before because it happens to be on the internet. They're like, this is new now. It's never.
Yeah.
It's remarkable. And the thing with Alex Jones was it was like, look, because later he was found guilty of defamation, right?
He could. I have no problem with him being sued for libel if he's putting out libel. I have no problem with him being sued for other issues if he's doxing people and sending people to cause harm at someone's house. But that's one thing. But in terms of just, I don't like his stances on things, and so therefore knock him off all his platforms simultaneously. I said, look, I don't care if that he's gone, like in terms of the discussion, the national discussion, but this won't stop with him. This is going to come for all of us that are outside of acceptable corporate talking points, and here we are.
Well, and the Silicon Valley declared themselves judge, juror, and executioner. Like this, they took him out before he had his day in court. So it's not like they're like, oh, well, he was found guilty of violating this free speech law, so we are deplatforming him. It's just like, no, we're deplatforming him because, and we don't really give a hoot what happens in the court of law. We're just deplatforming him because we can.
Yeah.
So are you going to move to my neighborhood and make movies? Because I was going to mention that. I mean, that was on my list of things to do. I'm like, let Lee know he's welcome in San Pedro. Bring the new one. Bring the new one. We'll put him to work on his set. He could be like a light guy.
What are these movies we're making?
Anything you want to.
Sorry, I wasn't reading between the lines. You're talking porn. I'm not going to get in the porn industry right now.
Well, if you change your mind, dude, we got some nice ocean views in my neighborhood. It's a great place. You'd be happy here. Do you think you'll stick around DC?
No.
No?
I don't. There's parts of DC are okay, but I don't need to be in the belly of the beast unless I need to be in the belly of the beast for the show, which is why I was here. But no, not staying in DC. Not sure where I'll head though.
Okay. Well, dude, LA's a decision away, man. Just saying.
You want me to Hotel California it up, huh? Just go.
Why not, dude?
Lose my soul.
Are you a beach guy? What's your I don't know what your preferences are as far as weather and stuff.
I love a beach for like an hour. I like swimming in the ocean. I think love all that. I don't want to like sit on the sitting on the beach and baking like you're some sort of, bacon in a pan. That's not me.
Are you a winter guy?
Yeah, I do pretty well in the winter.
Okay.
I'm one of those maniacs who enjoys walking around in short sleeves when it's 30 degrees out.
All right, cool. Do you have? I know you gotta go here soon, but do you mind taking a question or two from? We got a couple here for you.
Sure.
So I think I know the answer to this leftist best, and I'm pretty sure the answer is Lee himself. But I'll go ahead and ask him. Who was the organizer for show ideas? Whoever that was amazing. Oh, I think they're asking for the network, actually. Here, let me just read. Ask him who was the organizer for show ideas. Whoever that was amazing. Abby, Tom, Jesse, Lee, watching Hawks. Who was this genuine lefty? So I guess they're asking who curated over at the network. I don't know if you want to go into that.
I don't know if I really know that answer, who came up with the idea specifically of who to bring on. But yeah, if initially I thought you were asking about on my show, and yes, I came up with all my own topics and did my own research and wrote my own words and all of that. But yeah, and in terms of who decided to bring people to the network, I don't know.
Right on, man. Well, this goes without saying, and I know we've talked privately, but best of luck with everything. And it really sucks. Redacted Tonight is gone. I had a blast when I got to do that show with you, and also I've had a blast watching it. So this really frickin' sucks. But I've known you for a long time now, man. And if there's anyone who I'm very confident is going to land on their feet and run even further, it's Lee Camp. So yeah, man. I'm wishing you all the best, and thanks for sharing your story on this show.
Thanks, man. And yeah, if people want to see the next Redacted Tonight project, whatever it is, manifest, then please become a member at patreon.com/Lee Camp. The lowest level is, I think, averages out to $1.25 a week. So if you can handle that, but yeah, thank you, man. And thanks for all the work you do and continuing the good fight, because as we've been talking about these messages, these viewpoints, these thoughts, being anti-war, being anti-imperialist, they're getting shut down, and I'm glad yours is still going.
Cheers, buddy. And where do you want to direct people to follow you?
Yeah, LeeCamp.com is a good place, and I'm on Twitter at LeeCamp. But yeah, everybody check out the Patreon.
All right, man. Be well. We'll be in touch. See you
Thanks,
soon.
man.
Peace. Lee Camp, everybody. Lee Camp. You guys know Lee. It's always fun chatting with him. It's always fun. I'll send him pictures of vacant apartments in my neighborhood. I'll do that. I feel like I do want all my friends to move to my neighborhood. I definitely do want that. It'd be cool if everybody just moved to San Pedro and we just started some big lefty collective of creators and we all just lived in the neighborhood. That would I'd freaking love that. I don't know if Lee's that big of a beach guy. I think Graham and I are bigger beach guys than Lee is based on his answer. What do you think? I'm getting that vibe. I'm not a winter guy. Lee's a winter guy. I was never sure what his preferences were. Anyway, Red Pill, what's up? Love, peace, freedom, and happiness to Lee, Ron, and Lucy. Thank you so much for that, Red Pill. Thank you so much for your super chat contribution. I appreciate it very much. Left is best. What's up? I had Lee answer the question there, but yeah, you were asking. I think you were asking like who's the organizer for the network itself, which I don't know the answer to that, and I don't think Lee did either. But yeah. It sucks what happened with RT America. Obviously, it really freaking sucks. I hope that something fills that vacuum, but as Lee said, and I agree with what he said, like you need someone with a lot of resources to do that. That's just the reality of it. So how do you get that going? It's not going to be easy. Offer Lee free babysitting if he moves there. From me, that would be an incentive for him to never move there. Ron will watch the kid. That's freaking great. He'll it's not a cat, right, Ron? I guess. I don't know. Left is best. Yes, I was asking that. Thank you. No problem. No problem. And I agree with your assessment. There were a lot of great shows on that network, and it really freaking sucks. And Jay Blue, thank you so much for the pair who's giving me a fist bump. I love a fist bump from a pear because I love to eat pears. If I ever gave a pear a fist bump, I'd be like, you're delicious. You are delicious. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Tour dates, I got them. Don't wait. Get your tickets now. RonPlacone.com. In April, I'm going to Pittsburgh, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal. Can't wait to see you, Canada. And Pittsburgh. Can't wait to see you. All the places. Can't wait to see you. Burlington, Vermont, Portland, Maine, Boston, Massachusetts, and New York City, baby. Get those tickets now. RonPlacone.com. Reykjavik, Iceland. I'm going to be doing your Fringe Festival this year. That's all I know so far. The festival is from June 24th to July 3rd. I will be part of your festival. I don't know when exactly my shows are going to be, and I don't have the venue information yet, but when I know more, I will be posting it. But for now, I will be part of the Reykjavik Fringe Festival, and I can't wait to see you. I've never been to Iceland before. I'm excited about it. And in the meantime, April, tickets available now. Pittsburgh, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal, Burlington, Portland, Maine, Boston, Massachusetts, New York City. Chris Moen's going to be opening all those shows. Lauren Ashcraft's going to be opening as well in Pittsburgh and New York. And there's going to be a special guest at Boston, a very special guest joining me for a song in Boston. That's going to be exciting. Get your tickets now. RonPlacone.com. If you want to support the show on the sustainability end to keep it going, Patreon.com/RonPlacone. For a Give What You Can level, you get all kinds of cool perks, stand-up clips not available in their entirety everywhere else. I'll make you a theme song. I got a couple theme songs coming up. Could use some more orders, and that's all for a Give What You Can level. Even $1 a month goes a long way. This show is supported 110% by its listeners. So your Rockfin Premium memberships, your Patreon memberships, your Super Chat contributions, that keeps the show on the air, and it could not exist without you. So if you are able, if you got a little bit to spare each month that you won't miss, Patreon.com/RonPlacone. Even $1 a month goes a long, long way. So yeah, Patreon.com/RonPlacone. So nice to see you all on a Wednesday. We don't usually do a Wednesday show, but we're doing one. We're doing one this week. Did a special show. Lee Camp's got a lot going on, so we did a special show for that. I'll be back tomorrow. Lauren Ashcraft will be on the show for headlines on Thursday, same time, same channel. You know the drill. And in the meantime, Lucy, she says meow. I say peace, love, and a general strike. See y'all next time.